Ezras Hashem, Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parashat Tisa, Shnas Tov Shir Pei Beis. Likras Shabbos L'chu V'Neilcho. We're going to speak about the Parashat Hashavua. We know if, let's say, you want to make a cheese sandwich, it's not that complicated. You go to the shop, you buy bread, sliced bread, you go to the fridge, pick up some cheese, some vegetables, and you've got a nice cheese sandwich. But there was a man in America that wanted to make a cheese sandwich solo, by himself, like there are no shops. So he had to grow the wheat and harvest the wheat and grind the wheat until he got the flour to make the bread. He had to milk the cows and turn the milk into cheese. He needed as well to grow the vegetables. Finally, after half a year, all the ingredients was ready. The bread, the vegetables, the cheese, and he was finally able to make a cheese sandwich. And then he tasted it, and it was like a normal sandwich, nothing so special. And he realized that it costed him $1,500 renting the field and growing the wheat and milking the cows, and it took him a half a year at $1,500 to make this cheese sandwich, where any normal person could go to the shop at a cost of maybe $4. He's got already a cheese sandwich in 5 minutes. What's the difference? The difference is that if you want to do something yourself, you want to make the bread yourself, the cheese yourself, the vegetables yourself, it can take forever. But if everyone contributes, when you come to the shop, there was a baker who was busy preparing your bread, ready for harvesting in the fields overnight, and you come in the morning, the bread is fresh. There was a milkman who prepared the cheese and the vegetables. Everyone contributes and brings it together. When it comes together, you can come into the shop and you can take the bread, the cheese, and the vegetables, and it's ready within 5 minutes. This is the idea that we learn in this week's Parashat of Tisa, the idea of the Shkolim. Hashem said everyone to count, every Jew in Am Yisrael, the nation of Yisrael, had to contribute not a shekel but a half a shekel. Why a half? To show that every person has his own contribution to the Avodas Hashem. Every person has his own yocholos. In his way, he's a half, and other one's another half. And together, we are able to bring in a complete Avodas Hashem. Like we see it in the physical world, it's the same in the spiritual world, that everyone can contribute his half a shekel, his contribution to Avodas Hashem. So we see this idea, we see it as well in learning Torah and in Tefillah. When we approach the inyan of davening, even so Tefillah may look like something so personal. You're davening quietly, Shmoyne Esra. We have to know we are part of a tzibur. We are part of Am Yisrael in our Tefillahs and our Shmoyne Esra when we daven to Hashem. And we see it in the idea by the Ketores. The Ketores, we know, was the altar of the incense, which we would crush and blend 11 different incense and bring it as a Ketores once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Now the Torah, when it brings us which incense we should bring as part of these 11 incense for the Ketores, so it says we have to bring kachlecho, samim, take as follows: notof, shecheles, chelbeno. Bring the knot of a shecheles, a very beautiful perfume, very beautiful smells, sweet smells. But the chelbeno, asks Rashi, had actually a very bad smell. The chelbeno didn't smell anything special, and on the contrary, the chelbeno had a smell which was very disturbing. So says Rashi, this is to teach us. The reach of the chelbon, the reach is a bad smell. So what's it doing? Part of the incense. So he says, and the Torah counted the chelbon amongst the other incense of the Ketores. That when we daven to Hashem, we have to include everyone. And like the Ktoires, which is Tika and Tfilosike, Ktoires Lefonecho, like the Ktoires, we include as well the Chelbana amongst the other incense. The same too in our Tfilas, we have to include the Tfilas of the Rishoim. And this is the idea of a Tzibur. Reb Chaim Kaufman used to always tell us, Tzibur is Rosh Tevas, Tzadikim, Beinonim, Rishoim. To have a complete service of Tfilah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to include, all the people of the nation of Yisrael. And even if it may look like it's a Chelban of the Rishoim, yes, then your Tzibur is complete. Tzadikim, Beinonim, Rishoim. Let's understand this a little bit deeper. Reb Shimshon Pinkus, it says, B'Shem the Talmidei Agoin, it's brought down in Parshas Emoir, in Nefesh Shimshon, it says an amazing idea. An understanding of what it means, Tfilah B'Tzibur, and everyone contributing his way to the Ribono Shel Olam. So he said as follows, we know that every person who davens, his tefillah is a certain color, and I want to explain. When you have everything is one color, let's say you're in a room where the furniture is colored green, your clothes is green, the lighting is green, the walls are decorated green, everything is green, you will not be able to stay in this room longer than a minute because it's very disturbing. Everything is the same color. It's not beautiful. What makes something beautiful is when you have a mix of colors. When you have a beautiful painting, it becomes a rich painting when you know how to mix the colors and they blend beautifully. A red, a yellow, a green, all together, mauve, a pink, everything together comes together in a picture, in a painting. It blends together, makes a painting look so rich. But if it's all one color, then it's not beautiful. So says the holy Talmidei Agoin in a sefer called Rosh HaGivor, when you daven, your tefillah is only one color. When you daven b'tzibur, then everyone's tefillah has another color. And together the malach of the tefillah, he weaves together all the beautiful colors of the tefillah b'tzibur. Everyone his color, and presents it as a crown to the Ribono Shel Olam, the crown of our tefillahs. Why is every tefillah a different color? Because we may walk into shul on a mincha, and we're all davening the same Shmoyne Esra, silently saying the silent Shmoyne Esra. We're saying the same thing. It looks all so identical. But it's not. Because everyone entered the shul, entered mincha, everyone's coming for a different, something else is going on in his life. The one person, maybe his son's going to get engaged. And he's so happy, he's davening to Hashem, is so much simcha. Another person may be davening that Hashem Rachim, he came back from the doctor's surgery and he needs a great refuah shlema. He's coming to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with such a humbleness. We're davening refuainu, we're davening for Ribono Shel Olam to bring him a refuah. Some people may be davening mincha after Shir Torah. He just heard the Shir Torah. He comes to mincha with such a dveikus to Hashem. Mitoch simcha shel mitzvah. Everyone approaches tefillah in his world, in his way, where he is now having to cope with, and his experiencing, and what he's experiencing comes out of the tefillah, and it comes in a different color. So you have some people davening mitoch simcha, some people mitoch tsar, some people mitoch yisurim, some people mitoch simcha shel mitzvah. Everyone has another color to his tefillah. It's so different. It may look so similar, but yet it's so different every tefillah. And the Holy Malach takes all the tefillahs of this tzibur, and he takes each tefillah, each color, and weaves it together. And that is how he presents the tefillah shel tzibur to the Ribono Shel Olam. A beautiful, colorful, rich tefillah presented to Hashem as an atorah, as a crown of glory to the Ribono Shel Olam. First of all, we understand now, after we have this understanding, appreciation of tefillah b'tzibur, we can understand why when there is a chosan, who during the Sheva Brachos may be davening in your minyan, then you don't have to anymore say Tachanun. We don't say Tachanun if there is a chosan in your minyan. And I never understood why. I don't even know who the chosen is. Sometimes you know who the chosen is, but sometimes you're in a shul, you don't know who the chosen is, you don't even know his name, and nevertheless, I don't say tachanun because there's a chosen. He should say tachanun. He's a chosen. What is it to do with me, the simchas ha-chosen? Just because we daven in the same shul, that makes that my tefillah is besimcha? Now we understand, yes. Because our tefillah, my tefillah is weaved together with the tefillah of a simchas ha-chosen. The simchas ha-chosen, because he davened in my minyan, he's part of my tefillah. It enhances my tefillah. And therefore, I as well, it's not appropriate to say tachanun if there is a chosen which is weaved and part of my tefillah. This is a koyach of tefillah b'tzibur. Now we understand that you may have a beautiful painting with all the different colors, yellow, green, red, everything beautiful. But you know what enhances the picture, the painting to be even more beautiful? When you have a bit of black dots in the painting, then this enhances the painting, gives a richness to the painting. And this is how we appreciate the tefillahs of the Rishoim. When the Rishoim come and join us in tefillah, not only is their tefillah special, but in the contrary, it enhances your tefillah. Your tefillah that you daven to the Ribono Shel Olam becomes beautiful. It beautifies your tefillah. How? Because the tefillah of the Rishonim, you have the full, you have the full colors in your tefillah. Even the black enhances the tefillah of the tzibur. And that's why it's so important when you have a tefillah of tzibur, you have tzadikim, beinanim, rishoim. When everyone comes together, all the colors come together, then it makes a beautiful tefillah. That will brings it to Hashem. I'd like to, if it's possible, to quote how they bring in Rosh Kiva. He says as follows: Yesh Shem Espalel mitoich merirus liboy. Some people are davening the tefillah in a bitterness of heart. And some mitoich oisher, from a richness. Some mitoich oiniv, they're from poor, from poverty. V'yesh mitoich simcha shel mitzvah. Yesh mitoich hatzedek, mitoich hatshuva. Lo gvan shel zeh kegvan shel zeh. Not this color is like that color. And then Hashem knows, He brings me kulam yachad, that from all the colors together, meshuzeres umerukemes, He weaves and puts together kelel, a beautiful crown of glory. V'yofel yosatorah b'rosh Elokeinu yisporach. So now when we approach this idea, when we approach the idea of the chatzi shekel, that every one of Am Yisrael contribute to the avodas Hashem, how do we go? So we sometimes look around, how do I contribute to avodas Hashem? In what way? Did you daven betzibur? Well, your tefillah just contributed to everyone's tefillah together. Wouldn't have been the same without your tefillah, without your contribution. Because it's going to enhance a beautiful crown that we present to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The tefillah betzibur will have your color weaved in this tefillah, and this makes a beautiful crown to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I heard from Rav Friedman, Rabbi Yaakov Friedman is a Rav in Tifrach. He says a beautiful thing. He says when you present a crown to the king, the crown of glory, so there's gold and silver, diamond and jewels, right? It's made of those beautiful, exquisite diamonds and jewels. But there are as well holes in the crown. You ever notice a crown? It's not all solid gold or solid silver. There are holes in the crown. Because sometimes a person thinks, I'm not gold, I'm not silver, I'm not a diamond, I'm not a jewel. But what do we say? But wherever every Jew, even the holes of the crown enhances the crown to make it beautiful. With the holes, it makes the crown a whole new beauty to the crown. The same too, if anyone feels that who am I, what am I, you should know it's you are part of the crown of the Ribono Shel Olam. Everyone has a part of the crown of the Ribono Shel Olam. Everyone has a machatzis hashekel which you can contribute to enhance your tefillah betzibur to the whole of Am Yisrael as a whole. Thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbat.